Amir from New Delhi. Lovely to have everyone joining in. We're just about 100 people here at this point. We'll wait for another minute or so for others to join in. Great to have someone who's joining in from Karachi as well. So such a diverse crowd. Few things while we wait for others to join in. If any of you have questions when the presenters are talking, if it is about the session, please use the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. That is where, as I moderate the session through in the second part of today, we'll cover as many questions as we can. So be it for Dr. Murad Crystal about the program or the topic he's going to talk about, or be it for the MBA students that are here today to share their experience, as well as the admissions team. Please post your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. Apart from that, if questions are being asked by the speakers, you will be able to use the chat functionality at the bottom of your screen at that stage. But once again, welcome everybody. We're delighted to have you all here. We're nearly creeping up over to 150 of you that are here. I also want to take a quick second before I pass over to Dr. Murad to talk about the scholarships that Schulich School of Business is offering this year. For all you attendees, you will become eligible for over $200,000 of 200,000 Canadian dollars of scholarships that for several programs are available at the Schulich School of Business. So keep an eye out. We'll post the link here on the chat as well for your reference. You will receive this over email too. So make the most of it. Before I pass over, let's run a quick poll on the screen here now. There should be something that will pop up in just a second. Let's understand from all of you that are here, what factors would play an important role in your choice of your business school. Is it the rankings that are important to you? Is it the funding and scholarship opportunities? Is it the faculty and curriculum that you're going to learn about? Is it the location? Is it the career development support that you will get as well? So which factor is most important in your choice of business school? Is it the rankings? Is it funding and scholarships? Is it faculty and curriculum? Is it the location? Is it the career development support offered as well? So take a quick second if you'd like to just respond to the poll on your screen. We're going to close the poll in about 10 to 15 seconds. Which factor plays the most important role in your choice of business school? Is it the rankings, funding or scholarship, faculty and curriculum, location, or career development? All right, we'll close the poll at this point to see what kind of results we're seeing at this stage. Great, so career development and funding are two big aspects that have come through. So the highest is funding and scholarships. The second most important is career development. The third is faculty and curriculum. Fourth is rankings. And lastly is location. Wonderful. So with that, I want to take a quick moment to introduce Dr. Murad Crystal. He is the program director for the MBA in Technology Leadership at the Schulich School of Business. He's completed his doctoral in Operations Technology and Innovation from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, with a research focus on supply chain and operations management. He's completed several projects in resource allocation and manufacturing, the impact of competition in supply chain, and the development of mass customization capabilities through organizational learning and knowledge management. We're really pleased to have Dr. Murad here to talk to us. I will, in due time, when we come to the panel discussion as well, introduce four lovely current students who are here, along with Sarah Thomas, who is the recruitment manager for the Tech MBA program too. But without further ado, at this stage, I'm going to pass over to Dr. Crystal to talk to us about crafting the future, exploring ChatGPT's influence on digital transformation.
Thank you, Paras. Thank you for the lovely introduction. What I will do is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Can everyone see my screen clearly?
Yes.
Perfect. So yes, as Paras suggested, we are going to be talking about ChatGPT and its influence on digital transformation. It's an interesting topic. And everyone is using ChatGPT one way or the other. I mean, it's like a tool, right? I mean, if you know what you're doing with ChatGPT, it might be a very good tool. If you don't know what you're doing, then it might be also dangerous. So we are going to get into how ChatGPT and digital transformation work together today. So what are we going to talk about within the next 20 minutes? Well, we're going to talk about the concept of digital transformation and its AI's role in that, an overview of ChatGPT, and then we are going to start talking about how we can align or integrate ChatGPT in digital transformation. Then we are going to look into challenges and ethical considerations and future perspectives on ChatGPT and digital transformation, and conclude and open up with questions. So, what is digital transformation? I mean, I guess everyone is here interested in a Tech MBA program. They are also interested in digital transformation. I mean, digital transformation is the process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, culture, customer experiences to meet changing business and market requirements. You can read the rest of the slide yourself, but digital transformation, in a way, is different than digitizing. And that is the part that I would like you guys to understand, especially if you're going to come to an MBA program. And in the meantime, we have questions and answers, but I guess somebody else can take that. So digitizing is you're doing something physically, and now you're using something else, a digital medium to do that digitally. You were going to go to the bank to post a check. Now you use your phone to post a check. That's digitization. But digital transformation is more than just digitizing stuff. Digital transformation is about changing the way you look into your business. It is about changing the way how you put your customer first, and it is about how you're going to rearrange, you or reorganize all of your organizational goals and your operations in an environment where digital relationship with your customer or um, engagement with your customer will change the way that you do business. That's what digital transformation is. So it's not only a technology question, it is an operations, it is a change management, it is a strategy question. So what are the digital key elements of digital transformation? One of the things is you have to put your customer first. And if you're going to do successful digital transformation, the customer has to come first, because without, why would you even consider doing digital transformation? The idea is, oh, now we have multiple channels that we can reach out to our customers. We can collect data. We can analyze our customers' needs. So at the end of the day, it is about putting customer first and doing your homework as an organization to understand the needs and what your customers are asking from you. You then also achieve operational agility in the sense that you can improve your flexibility and responsiveness. If you think about 1990s, early 2000s, in the operations management literature, you would always have this concept of trade-offs. If you're going to be flexible and responsive, you cannot bring your costs down. In today's world, you need to be able to be flexible, you need to be responsive, and you need to also bring products that are high quality and at a relatively lower cost. Well, digital transformation helps you do that, because one of the key parts of digital transformation is organizational learning. So with the help of digital transformation, the more you learn, the more responsive you're going to become, or your organization will become, and then the more reducing your cost savings come. You will be able to enable your workforce. You have to integrate your technology. And as I was talking about, it is about change. It is about the way you're going to be doing your business. So you're going to be changing your culture. You're going to be going through organizational change to embrace digital transformation to its full extent. So if any organization see this as just switching from physical to digital technology application, they will fail. If the organizations embrace digital transformation in the sense that technology is an enabler, but we are literally changing the way we think about our business and our customers. And when we are changing the way that we think, we are using technology that will enable or let us get to our goal. Those companies will succeed in the long run. So why is it important? Well, guess what? You guys, customers, demand a lot, right? So customers, the omni-channel experience with any brand that you're going to have has to be seamless. Like if I am going into a brand's webpage or to their app or walking to their store, I expect the same. I expect the same level of customer service. And in most cases, what do? You just give them your phone number and you expect them to, pull your file, even if you're on a retail store or you enter your email when you're ordering online, the experience has to be instant. There's instant access and communication. I mean, all of you can just get on to X and then hashtag a company, and you will be able to attract their attention. And also the competitive pressure, because your competition is doing something, right? So you have to respond to the competition. You can read these through, but how the point of this presentation is ChatGPT digital transformation. We do know digital transformation is crucial. So where does ChatGPT get into this picture, or where does it fit, basically? Well, I mean, let's just first understand what ChatGPT is. It's a state-of-the-art language model, right? It's part of the generative pre-trained transformer series. So it is they are like, it's a neural networks model. And it does generate coherent and contextually relevant text based on the input it receives. So there is this transformer architecture. I mean, we don't need to get into the detail of this thing, but you really need to understand that there is a lot of math, and the stuff that they are using is called deep learning and natural language processing. So it is taking your input as a natural language and then looking into its trained responses and then coming up with generating human-like text by understanding and predicting language patterns. It's a very powerful tool. Like, you cannot just say, I'm going to ignore this tool that is available to me. Obviously, there are evolutions of ChatGPT, like GPT-2, GPT-3, and then you have ChatGPT, and then you also have the ChatGPT's pro version or the paid version. And at the same time, you have Google, you have Meta coming up. The other organizations are also coming up with their large language models or GPT models. So how can we really use this thing, right? Like the first thing that comes to your mind or comes to one's mind is automated customer support. Why? I mean, because you do have chatbots. Like, even when you're like ordering or getting a ticket to go somewhere, or if you have a problem, you can just go to that web page, and then instead of waiting on the phone for half an hour, you can start talking to somebody on the other line at chatbot or an automated chat. That automated support with your ChatGPT is more like human-like experience, right? So as a result, it can be really helpful. It can personalize. You can use this in content creation, automated writing. Like this is very important in today's world where you have social media feeds, you have your LinkedIn, you have it as a company, you have your Facebook. Like somebody has to sit down and then write these materials, right? And you can use that in content creation that will help you reduce the time it will take you to create content. It can also assist you in language translation, especially for multinational companies. I mean, think about it. If you are operating in North America and Latin America, and then say Southeast Asia, and if you're going to have manuals that your employees have to follow through these, translating these things or having them use English materials may not be flexible or may not be available. So they should be able to answer their questions in the language that they speak. And ChatGPT or a ChatGPT like situation solution can help them understand what they are working on. You can use ChatGPT in personalized learning. You can use ChatGPT in patient interaction and information analysis. So there are lots of ways that ChatGPT can be used and used as a tool for your digital transformation endeavors for your organization. However, there are some challenges and considerations as well. I mean, the slide that you see or the picture that you see on the right-hand side, I have taken this on January 19th from the BBC webpage. So what happened is this company called DPD, they are a delivery company in the UK, I believe. And then they do use artificial intelligence and online chat to answer queries in addition to human operators. Well, what happened is the chatbot swore to one of the customers during a chat session. So they had to take down their chatbot right away. There are still challenges. I mean, nothing is foolproof. And that also is one of the things that I taught to my students. ChatGPT is a useful tool. So is a computer a useful tool, or a calculator is a useful tool, but they become useful if you know how to use them. So just relying on ChatGPT would not help you to achieve digital transformation. And that's why there's a dependency on AI, over-reliance on AI tools like ChatGPT might lead to the loss of certain human skills and judgment in various sectors. And at the end of the day, ChatGPT trains the language models by scraping the web. So misinformation and accuracy is a problem because if you feed wrong data to any kind of an AI model, well, you're going to get a result that is not accurate, or it can be, it will deliver misinformation. What's going to happen in the future? So you have the current challenges. People need to understand that AI will not replace people or clever people. AI replace mundane tasks. So that ChatGPT, you can start using ChatGPT in a way uh, sorry about that. You can use ChatGPT in a way that is going to be helpful for you. You should be able to ask questions. You should be able to use that the way that you need your organization to be more flexible and efficient. We will see the integration of ChatGPT with other technologies, emerging technologies like virtual reality or augmented reality. And as you start seeing these things, it will become like a second nature to us because it is very intuitive. And when you start using that in an intuitive way and understand what you're doing, it will be very helpful. Questions? So thank you very
Thank
much.
you. That's lovely. Thank you, Dr. Murad, for the presentation and so many things that come up at this stage. How ChatGPT will influence companies and how they use it. The challenge you spoke about, DPD. What are ways in which companies can be more conscious of such things as
Mhm.
well. So I'm sure more questions will come up on the chat box as well. For everybody attending, if I can request you all to keep posting questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. We're going to move quickly to a second presentation briefly, and then come back for Q&A as well. So at this point, I'd love to introduce Sarah Thomas. She's the Recruitment and Admissions Manager at Schulich School of Business. Sarah, tell us a little bit about the Schulich Tech MBA program and how is it like to study at Schulich as well?
Absolutely. I'm just going to share my screen here. Can you see that okay?
It's loading up. Great. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Oh. And it's frozen. Give me 1 minute. Of course.
While Sarah is getting her screen back up, for folks here, we've seen a few questions come up in the chat box. We'll try and keep tab of those as well. But if we can request you to keep questions into the Q&A section, that'll be extremely helpful. I think we're ready. Sarah, back to you to talk to us about the Tech MBA program.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us. As mentioned, my name is Sarah Thomas, and I am the Manager of Recruitment and Marketing here at Schulich. So I oversee admissions to the Tech MBA program, and should you apply, you will be working with me through your application process, and I will be also doing your interview for admission into the program. So I'm going to just take a couple minutes to go through some of the key features of the program that are really our main highlights, and you'll hear more about these as we talk to the students. But really, we have these key features here that I mentioned. And so we have the mentorship program, and this is a really great opportunity for our students to engage one-on-one with top executives in the industry of tech. And so what we do is we really take your profile, not only just your work experiences and your education, but we really try to hone in on your specific career goals so that we can best pair you with a specific mentor. And so this is done at the very beginning of the program, and it really is available to you throughout the entire program, where you have that one-to-one connection and you get to have experience with executives. You also get to gain industry insights, but you're also exposed to their own network to really help you advance in your career. Next, we have a really exciting opportunity, which is the Venture Studio project. And so this project happens in your third term, and it's actually in partnership with 111. So 111 is a large tech hub here with Schulich startups, and we also match you with companies. So you work on a team environment with the diversity of all of the students in the tech program. And we match you with companies to really complete a strategic product and fundraising analysis for these firms. So you're really being able to apply your knowledge in the real world with a real company, so that once you graduate, you're able to tell potential employers and future employers that you were already able to experience this and how to apply this new knowledge in the real world before you even graduated. And that moves very nicely into the last key feature of the program, which is the guaranteed internship. So we do have a guaranteed mandatory internship that takes place in the last term of your program. And so this is a full-time paid mandatory internship where we have a curated list of internship opportunities for our students. So you don't need to go around knocking on doors trying to find these opportunities, but you'll be selecting from this list. And again, it's a really great opportunity for you to have a strong foothold in the tech industry, but even for international students coming in, to have that strong foothold in the Canadian market even before you graduate, and really increase your employability in terms of your experiences here in Canada. And so moving on to the requirements. So I know everybody's wondering, what do I need to do to be eligible for the program? So as you can see, it's very similarly mirrored to a regular MBA, where we do require an undergraduate degree from a recognized post-secondary education. So we do accept 3 or 4-year degrees. We also require a minimum of a B average. So the way in which we calculate this is we take the last 2 years of your studies. So even if you do have a master's degree after you completed your bachelor's, we will take your master's degree and then keep counting backwards into your bachelor's until we make up those 2 years of full-time study. So it is not your CGPA, because I know a lot of people ask that question. So last 2 years. We also require a minimum of 2 years of work experience. And I know you see on your screen here that we ask you to have work experience in a technology firm or a technology-enabled role in a non-technology firm. And I saw some questions in the chat about, I'm in healthcare, or I'm a lawyer, or all of these different ways in which you think maybe you aren't involved in a tech role. But as we know, and why one of the main reasons why this was created is because every company is a tech company, whether they like it or not. So you are in a tech-enabled role to be successful in any role that you're in right now. So don't look at this and think that it's a daunting task to have that under your resume. We will dive into that throughout the application. And then to complete the online essay, you're going to go online, do all of your application, and your essay is really more of a statement of purpose. So we want to see the alignment. We want to see, why should you be in this program? Why will a tech MBA help you really advance in your career? So how are you going to leverage this program in the future? Then, of course, we require your resume, your transcripts, and also 2 references. So these will be professional references, and they will fill out a questionnaire that we send to them based off of the information you've provided. And then for our international students who have not completed their studies in English, we would require an IELTS or a TOEFL from you. I do want to quickly touch on the deadlines, because we just extended our deadline for round 2, which is really favorable for our international students, as we really encourage you to apply by the round 2 deadline, which is now February 13th, 2024. And this is really to allow you enough runway time to be successful in obtaining your study permit. So please ensure, if you're an international student, you're applying by February 13th. We don't need to have your completed references at that time. We just need to have your completed application submitted. And to note as well, you'll see a big bold on your screen here, we are offering application fee waivers, which are typically $150 Canadian to all SEED attendees. So anybody who has attended a SEED event with us in the past, or anybody in attendance right now, you will be able to apply a application fee waiver. The way in which that works is it is automatically applied to your application. There is no code, there is nothing extra that you need to do. You just need to make sure you are creating your application with the same email address that you registered for this event. Moving quickly just into tuition and fees. I know that I'm running out of time. So you can see the domestic and international fees are located on your screen here in the top right. And we also have various scholarship opportunities. So as Paras noted earlier, we have 5 SEED scholarships totaling 185,000 Canadian dollars. And so the way in which you would apply for those is through the SEED platform. And I know that that link was shared earlier, and you'll probably get a lot more information about that following this session. But we also internally reward about 4 million Canadian dollars annually to our MBA students just in-house from Schulich. And so that's it for me, but I do want to just make sure that everybody got the information here about the deadlines and the application fee waiver before we move on. And thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah, for that overview for the program. Now, we've learned the overview as such, but let's also hear from. There are questions still pouring in, and we'll try and take as many of those as we can as well. But I want to now invite all the four panelists that are here as well, the four current students on the program: Michaela Ronco, Asma Hassan, Dapo Asoluka, and Keon Rastegar. We've got a host of questions for them as well, and as each of you learn more about these folks as well as the audience learns more, please feel free to put more questions that you may have in the Q&A as well. We've seen about 15 odd questions come in. Don't worry, we'll cover all of those with Sarah, Dr. Crystal, and the folks that are here as well. As well as we've got Vino, who is an in-house immigration lawyer at the Schulich School of Business. Welcome, Vino, for joining us here today as well. For any questions that you may have around recent legislation that has come in around the visa process, please put those questions too, and we'll try and get those covered today too. But before we start off, I want to firstly welcome the four of you that have taken time from your busy schedules on the program to be here today. And we'll go in order: Michaela, Asma, Dapo, and Keon. If one by one you want to just briefly introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Michaela. I'm one of the 13 members of the current Tech MBA cohort. My background is from software engineering. So before joining the program, I worked with TD and TD Securities, which is a bank in Canada, for 4 years doing backend. And I had entered through an early talent rotational program. And initially, I was not actually looking to do a master's, but when Schulich had announced that they were doing the Tech MBA, it was kind of an amalgamation of everything that I was interested, from the technology piece enabling enterprise and business, as well as my interests of eventually going into leadership and strategy. And we're now on the winter semester, and we've been getting involved in different extracurriculars. For myself, I've been a part of the external case competition team as well as Keon, and we've had a great time with that. And we're also looking forward to our summer placements, as Sarah beautifully laid out for us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Asma?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. So I'm Asma, and I'm also part of the Tech MBA program. My background is I did my undergrad from York University in software engineering, and then I worked at IBM as a software developer for 4 years. And then I wanted to move to leadership roles, specifically product management, and Tech MBA was the perfect match for me, where I get to learn about the business side and leadership. That brought me to Schulich School of Business. And on the side, I'm also a martial arts and fitness instructor. And on that line, I am also part of a club at Schulich where I'm a fitness consultant as well. So part of the extracurricular and schoolwork is helping me develop my leadership role more. So yeah, that's me.
Lovely to have you as well. Dapo?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dapo Asoluka. So I tend to describe myself as a lifelong marketing student. So I have an extensive background and experience in marketing within the CPG sector. So I have experiences that cut across brand marketing, sales, business development, research. So for me, the Tech MBA program was a very unique opportunity to essentially bridge my previous experiences in business and strategy and marketing, with the new technological innovation frontier. So basically looking at, for me personally, how can I build, nurture, and sustain brands that consumers love using that power of technology and innovation. So that was really what drove me towards this program. In terms of long-term ambition, I'm looking towards becoming a brand portfolio director or product marketing director in the not too distant future. So that's basically me in a nutshell, and good to have you on board.
Okay.
As you've heard from my colleagues, it's quite an accomplished set of people. This inaugural class has been quite an incredible experience. My name is Keon, and my background before coming to the Tech MBA, I was in law school, and I've done my articling, and I've passed the bar. But I knew that before I get started in legal practice, um, I wanted to explore not just an MBA and like the business side of things, but like Michaela said, leadership and being able to be tech literate in today's age is incredibly important. Ironically, I found out about this program before they even started advertising it, mostly because I went on that drop down menu when you apply to the Schulich programs, and I saw Tech MBA, and sort of like that kind of went it down its own rabbit hole, and it was the more I learned about it, the more I was like, yeah, this is it. This is exactly what I need right now. And I'm so glad I did because, like I said, as everybody on this panel, including the rest of the cohort, everybody comes from different backgrounds. It's this amazing diversity where we all feed into each other and gain perspective. So, and as far as extracurriculars go, like Michaela said, we are on the external case team, and I'm also honored to be the cohort representative on the Graduate Business Council as well. So I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody here and answering any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Keon. And we'll bring Dr. Murad on the screen as well, just to get a broader perspective as a program director on the session today. And Dr. Murad, maybe I'll start off with you for the first question. Someone who's been a part of this program from the integral start. Can you provide us an overview of the Tech MBA program very briefly, and how does it differentiate itself among several other MBA programs that are out there?
There are a lot of MBA programs, right? A lot of choices today. I mean, our MBA program, our Tech MBA program, the graduates of this Tech MBA program should be filling a gap in the industry, okay? Technology is changing the way that we do business. I mean, or the way that we live our lives. So you have this technology part of it, but then you also have the management part of it, like the management essentials, so your marketing, your operations, your finance, so on and so forth. But all of these essentials in today's world are not done, or you cannot achieve them without the technology. And yet again, if you look into the business world, business owners, like if you're in marketing, if you're in finance, so on and so forth, they have trouble understanding what technology can do for them. The technology leaders usually are tech geeks who don't understand business. So hopefully our graduates will bridge this gap and then be the unicorns who actually do understand business, because they are taking classes in marketing, they are taking classes in finance, but they also will understand how technology helps and how you can align your business strategy with your technological strategy to become a successful organization. So that is the part that we are trying to fill in, and that's why our program is a unique program.
That's fantastic. In a time when tech is dominating nearly all industries, I surely think that folks that come up with skills that match both areas, both business and technology, will surely drive great leadership for the future. Michaela, I'm going to move to you for the next question. You spoke to us about your time at TD. Can you share your experience with the rotational developer program at TD, and how that influenced your choice to pursue the Tech MBA at Schulich?
Yeah, no problem. So the rotational program actually isn't offered anymore with TD. I think some banks still do early talent rotational engagements, but I was very lucky because at the time, TD had a 2-year program that had 4 6-month placements across the bank. And I was just graduating from Queens with degrees in economics and computing, and I had these 2 specialties, and I wasn't quite sure how to marry them yet. And TD was able to provide an avenue and career opportunity to show me what the intersection of those interests looked like. And I had a wonderful time. So I truly was able to jump from enterprise with big ERP implementation projects, and then was working my way into TD Securities, which I found out through rotations, trying different things, and putting on different hats, so to speak, with what worked and what didn't work. And I think that's a unique opportunity that rotation programs can offer, as well as a chance to build out your network. One of the things, too, that I thought was extremely valuable that I see emulated in the Tech MBA is that this position is to teach a person to fish. So if we wanted to find a new rotation, the onus was on us to go out and network and to make that connection. And we weren't going to be force-fed anything. Of course, there was a safety net to show us if we couldn't land a placement, what could we do with a growth mindset to make sure that we were equipped for the next round. But we, as people from that cohort, gained a lot of valuable skills in navigating, which is almost like a small country because TD's employee base, I think, is 100,000. But in terms of what or how that experience informed me that the Tech MBA could be the next option is that the rotation program provided context for me. So when you begin a career as a technologist, that's your job. And you work to solve problems, but that problems come from somewhere. And technology by itself, what's the point, right? Because it needs to solve a problem and be a solution for something. And I knew that in my role, while I was getting all these great technical experiences, I needed to seek out the next opportunity to give me overall context. And that's something the Tech MBA has been absolutely priceless in providing, which is curriculum and experiences to show us how the business works as a whole unit. So it's cool how it plays into each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, the fact that you were able to experience multiple areas and realize that the Tech MBA would potentially play a big role is a great learning for folks that are attending this session as well. Asma, I'm going to move to you for the next question. And there are folks who are on the session who've posted questions around this as well. So interesting to get your perspective on this. Coming from a software engineering background, how has the Tech MBA program complemented your technical skills with leadership and business acumen?
Right. Thank you for the question. So I did my undergrad in engineering, and then my role was very technical, all computer and coding. I hardly had any business education prior to this. So as I wanted to move to product management, product managers sit in between clients and the business and also the developers. So it's important that whoever is sitting there, they understand business side as well. So I came with technical knowledge, but I did not know much of business. And as Murat mentioned, that we have marketing courses, finance, accounting, leadership, all those courses together, which are focused on technology, is helping me a lot to understand. And at the same time, those courses are designed in certain way that even without that prior education and knowledge, I'm able to understand, grasp the concepts and also learn more about the business side while understanding the technology side as well. So it has helped me grow a lot and understand the business side, and it opened my eyes in many ways. And I'm excited for the further education, to continue my education here. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that background and experience, Asma. Tapo, I'm going to come to you next. And you obviously spoke about a little bit about your aspiration and a bit of your background from marketing as well. Tell us, how have you found settling in to this new environment, and what kind of support have you had on campus coming under the Tech MBA program?
Thanks for that question, Paras. To be honest, in a nutshell, it's been exciting and challenging, obviously being an international student, but, from a personal front, I'm someone who's very open and very adaptable. From a past life or my previous experiences, I've lived and worked outside my home country for like 6-7 years, thereabouts. So the experience was something I was really looking forward to. And, like many people on the call, I've heard several stories about, the Canadian winters, and how that could be very tough to adapt to. But, really and truly, it's just a situation whereby you just have to ensure you prepare well ahead of time, right? So you have to obviously take advantage or maximize the fall and the summer months to stock up, right? And apart from that, you also look at Canada as a whole, and York University, by extension, it's a multicultural environment, so very diverse, so settling in and, and settling down into the program and even into the new environment was somewhat seamless for me. Broadly speaking, you have a lot of support from your peers, from the university itself, right? So that was very crucial for me. So with regards to the school in itself, in terms of the direct support they offered, so as an international student, your first couple of weeks, you're doing the orientation and the induction programs, which is very important for international students settling into a new country, right? Then, of course, you have accommodation support, which is crucial. And it's important that, international students also start this well ahead of time, right? And then we have support, from, our legal and immigration team, as well as, you have a career services department, and like Sarah spoke to earlier on, we have mentors, industry giants who have a wealth of experience, they've seen it all, and we can tap into that wealth of experience and knowledge that they have, right? And then even on top of that, you also have our peers who also like alumni of different MBA programs, who could also help in terms of that settling process and mentoring. And then, of course, you have academic support, from the teaching faculty. Even my peers on the program who have technical backgrounds have been of immense support. Then, of course, you also have financial advice and support, like Sarah already alluded to previously. So, I mean, overall, it's been a great experience, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the program as it evolves.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Dapo. Keon, I'm going to come to you, and I looked at a little bit of your background as well. Your experience as a student leader, including roles as law school society president. How did talk to us about the influence of how did this play an influence on your perspective on the integration of technology and legal coming together for the future?
Thanks so much for that. And that's actually a really interesting question, because law is notorious for being one of the slowest things to ever catch up in terms of like innovation and technology, just because everybody needs to dot their I's and cross their T's, which is great. But it does sort of leave something to be desired in moving things forward. And you crave that innovation, but you're also reminded that it has to be done responsibly. I mean, I come from a corporate law background, but I wanted to marry that with like business leadership and innovation, especially with all of this emerging technology that is absolutely blowing up right now. And wherever you work, whether that's law or marketing or wherever else you come from, you see these gaps that can be filled. As I guess with Law Student Society, being president of the Law Student Society, I was actually also president of the Law and Technology Society, where we like had all these seminars and networking events, and we actually set up grants for the law students to engage with new technology and innovation. My experience has been that you see these gaps, and then there's this like burning part of you that's like, I want to push things forward. I want to have the capability of moving things along this track. And I mean, we just came out of a pandemic. So, doing my, like, I've been to court virtually, and there's all aspects of technology that we were forced to adopt just to stay functional. Like you used to have to go down to the courtroom with your like 30-page statement of claim and hand it directly to the person. Now you just click submit online, and it's great. It saves you a trip downtown. So yeah, just law is always the last thing to catch up. But like Murat was mentioning earlier with the chatbot who swore at the customer, there's all these things that can fall through the cracks. Like I'm sure everybody's heard about that lawyer who just kind of like generated their case on ChatGPT, and now they got reprimanded. They did own up to it, and but it's stuff that can happen. So again, just alluding to what Murat said, it's not going to replace people, but it will help make efficient like the mundane tasks. And in the leadership roles, you see that the need for that, especially in the digital age.
Great. Thank you, Keon, for that as well. And thank you for all of you for some of your insights at the early part of this conversation. I have several questions for you, but I am now pulled by the number of questions that are coming into the Q&A section to try and take some of those with you all as well. I'm also going to bring in Sarah because there's some questions that are slightly more broader that we may be able to cover through this conversation as well. And there are people, so we'll try and take as many, and for the audience here, please keep posting your questions. We'll try and answer as many of those we can, either with Murat and Sarah, or with the students that are here as well. And the next one I'm going to ask first to Sarah, and then I'll pass over to Asma, you as well, because there's someone with a similar background. Prachi from India is asking, she's currently working as a front-end developer, front-end software engineer, and has done her BTech. I want to focus on a career towards innovation and management. Does the Tech MBA program seem suitable, and what kind of scholarship opportunities come up for her as well?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I saw as well, can everybody hear me okay? I saw that there were some issues with my audio before. Yes, so just very high level, not having seen any of your transcripts or your resume, we really look for alignment in terms of your future career goals. And your future career goals seem very much in alignment with not only the outcomes of the program, but also the curriculum itself, because you will really have that hands-on innovative experience. And so, again, we accept people from all different types of backgrounds, where an MBA program is really designed for people who may be coming from a very more technical software engineering background or a lawyer background like we see here. We have healthcare as well, but it's really allowing our students to really level up in terms of their management and leadership skills. So that's really what an MBA encompasses, and that's also what the Tech MBA will provide for you for your future career.
Great. Asma, do you want to chime in from your perspective? What helped you think about the Tech MBA program as well?
Yeah, so for me, it was going into management. That was my goal, and that's what brought me to Tech MBA. And we do have so many courses, and at the same time, I do want to emphasize that we do have access to a lot of industry leaders, and also people working in the industry in well-known companies and businesses. That's through the Schulich partnership that they have, or where we can learn from them too. So they have wide variety of industry leaders, industry experiences that we can learn from as well. So that can align with our goal as well.
Fantastic. I'm going to take some of the basic questions out of the game quickly. Sarah, Murat, these two are the next two questions are for you guys quickly. Testing, is GMAT, GRE mandatory? IELTS, are there any waivers from folks coming from specific countries, particularly in Asia and Africa? If either of you or both of you want to quickly allude to that, that'd be useful.
Yeah, I can touch on that, Murat, if that's okay. So we do not require a GMAT or a GRE, unlike a regular MBA. And really, this is in place because we are looking for people who are thinking outside of the box, and we're looking for different qualities in our students that a GMAT or a GRE will just not provide to us. So no, it is not a part of the application process. In terms of an IELTS or a TOEFL, we do require the academic testing of that, and we will provide waivers to anybody who has completed their undergraduate degree or any of their studies in English. So you will receive a waiver should you have completed your studies in English.
Fantastic. Murat, I'll bring you the next question here. There are some folks that come from, and without naming, because there's a few of them, there are some folks who have over 10 years of experience in accountancy, or have a certain number of years of experience within healthcare, who are thinking about a Tech MBA program. Mm-hmm. Is this right for them, or are there better suited programs?
No, I mean, it depends on what they want to do. Even in healthcare, in accounting, there are so many technological applications, right? Mm-hmm. And these technological applications, they need people who understand the accounting side of things, like the business side of things, but the application side of things. So they would be able to stay in their current industry, but will be seeked after, right? Because they will be the only guys who know, oh, this technology works, and he has a business experience. This is someone who's unique. So I would strongly suggest them to come to our program.
Great. And just to add one piece of advice from my side for folks that are thinking about this, there is no right or wrong time when you want to pursue a program. You have to think about, from your career ambition, does this help you elevate to the next level? And that's when you have an honest conversation about yourself and what your goals are with folks like Sarah, and maybe, many a times understand the experience of current students like the ones that I hear, to know if that's right for you. So, I'd say have those conversations. Don't think experience is a barrier, or an industry that you come from is a barrier. People, use the MBA to either change the industry that they come from or go higher in their relevant current industry of work. Both are currently big reasons why folks study an MBA program. So think broadly around that. I want to come back with a couple of more questions. David, there was a question. Dapo, there was a question for you in particular that came up. With your experience in core marketing or experience, can you talk to us about your experience from core marketing to tech MBA? Because there's a few folks with a marketing background as well. How does the marketing background for you influence what you want to do in the future with tech as a foray as well?
Oh, great question. So with regards to my marketing prior experience, so like I previously said, I'd done sales, all right, I'd done brand marketing, I'd done a bit of consumer research. I've been involved in a series of product and brand launches in my previous company. So for me, in terms of the next frontier, is looking at how I can harmonize or integrate marketing with tech, because a couple of years ago, they were probably seen as, two separate entities. And the truth of the matter is technology is interwoven into different business sub-functions. So it's not in itself in isolation, right? So that convergence, what we're now trying to see today is that convergence of marketing with tech, creating this powerful engine that is geared towards, driving superior customer value and business performance. So that for me is very much aligned with my ambition with regards to, essentially amassing experiences and learnings from different sectors, different industries, and also projecting where is the business landscape evolving towards in future, and how do I make sure that I'm future fit? How do I upskill my digital literacy, right? How do I ensure that I have the necessary understanding, with regards to, some of the disruptive technology out there? How do I make sure that I have the technical skills? And that's where the Tech MBA is, for me, a perfect fit in terms of that ambition towards, being a product marketing director, right? Or brand portfolio director, a couple of years down the line, right? So that understanding of tech is a huge piece. We've seen quite a lot of trends with regards to marketing and tech recently. You look at AI, look at the level of how that's driving optimizations in the customer journey in terms of even targeting for specific marketing campaigns. And what you're now also seeing within that marketing space is more of a preoccupation with data, right? So data is absolutely essential, in terms of driving business decisions. So technology managers or marketing managers of the future, right, need to be able to handle big data, and they need to be able to derive, those actionable insights that would essentially, give some level of competitive advantage to these businesses in future. And for me, like I said, it's a perfect fit, both in terms of knowledge and in terms of experience. Yeah.
Great. Michaela, I'll bring you the next question here. And this is somebody, so Sandra has completed a bachelor's in BTech in electronics and media tech, and she's done her master's in MTech in data science, having worked as a business analyst for about 9 months as well. So she's built a strong academic as well as now professional experience as well. She'd like to understand, and maybe we'll bring your perspective into play as well, having in your previous time experienced multiple areas of a business. Why was the Tech MBA a choice versus a dual degree of sorts as well? And maybe after you, maybe Marath, you can come in as well, talking about the Tech MBA versus the dual degree too.
Yeah, I think, Sandra, you're on the right track. I mean, I'm particularly biased to that background because I think that it really equips you to be able to solve different types of problems, especially data-driven ones with evidence-based solutions. I do think that and Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, the program requires a minimum of 2 years of work experience. And that you unmuted?
Oh, sorry.
I saw. Yeah, I saw.
This in the chat as well. So yes, we do require a minimum of 2 years of professional work experience, but please note that we require it up until the start of the program. So for example, if you are applying for this September and you're just shy of 2 years, we will calculate all the way up until September, having faith that you will stay in your position until the program starts. Thanks, Michaela.
Perfect. Yeah. I think the Tech MBA is I think it is complementary for the kind of experience. And again, it just gives you access to new problems. So from my perspective, when I've started in the capacity of a developer, the problems we were working to solve each day were technical. So we were working with a team of business analysts who would help kind of liaison with the business to figure out what their needs and their requirements were. And then that would feed into specifications and criteria for the work that the developers would do, and we would go back and forth. But that is kind of your world. And with a master's in business administration, it gives you more context for consideration. And also, I would imagine, would help you make sense of the data that you would be given within the capacity of a data analytics role, data engineering, data stewardship. Also, I think like even that question, an MBA would help answer is, how do businesses handle data roles? Like, how can leadership best equip and set the different personnel up for success? Because there is a difference between what a data engineer does versus a data steward versus a data analyst. And these are all different roles. And yeah, part of the MBA, and I believe what my colleagues and I are learning, is how to position ourselves to be that gap in the market, as Murat was detailing. So, Sandra, I think you've got a great background.
Great. Murat?
Question was about the dual degree, right? Like whether or not you want to pursue
Oh,
a
and
dual
other
degree,
options too.
or having a Tech MBA program. I mean, I guess both choices or both options have, their pros and cons. If you want to pursue a dual degree, by all means, you should pursue a dual degree. Nobody should say, no, you should not do that. The only thing that I can say is that in the Tech MBA program, or at least in our program, we have a lot of experiential education or experiential learning components to that program. The venture studio that we have, that you guys, they will be working with the startups in the summer term, the internship component during the last term of the program. They take time. Like there's, people usually think that they can achieve multiple things at the same time. That's usually a great thought, but in reality, it may not translate into that, right? So if you're going to do something, do it well. So if you're going to do Tech MBA, come to Tech MBA, and then you learn and explore as much as you can. We provide our students with a lot of opportunities to network, to work with startups, to work in an organization. So if you're dedicated, then you're going to be really successful.
Great. No, that was helpful. Keon, I'll bring you the next question. And this is probably a dilemma that any candidate that is learning for the first time about the Tech MBA program may have as well, is that are there any perceivable limitations to employment post the Tech MBA vis-a-vis a general MBA? Do you see, as you're preparing and speaking to employers, or even at the time of internships, do you see there's a difference in perception, or is it a positive? Is it a negative? What's your take on that?
I think the only limitations that we've encountered so far have been probably self-perceived or imposed, because I would say the opposite is actually true. The people that Schulich partners with, the employers, as soon as they hear about the Tech MBA and the things that we are learning, they kind of just like they perk up a little bit. People are thirsty for folks entering the workplace with technical knowledge in addition to the business leadership. And like Schulich has been incredibly supportive as well. I do kind of want to touch on the previous question as you led into me, because this kind of ties into the current question, where the support that's available to the Tech MBA, as well as the fact that it's like a growing program, means that not only do you have the eyes of the industry and employers on you, but you also have more of a say in how you shape this program and what you build on, because we're kind of building this bridge as we cross it, right? So we get to determine the foundation. We get to determine what that consists of. So yeah, the industry has looked very favorably upon this, and I would say that it has been mostly a positive influence. I would like to only, like, I'd speak for myself, but I haven't faced any limitations in terms of like the employment opportunities at all. But it also does take dedication of your own in terms of seeking that out and the way that you apply it. So for example, me applying the knowledge from the Tech MBA and these innovations in the legal field might be different from somebody who's applying them in another industry, right? But you're given all of these resources, and there's no shortage to what you can do. So I'm thankful that I did this. And as far as the dual degrees go, they're great, but now that I'm here, I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
Great. Sarah, I'll bring you the next question. And there have been a large number of questions around funding and scholarships as well. But this one's slightly unique too. You mentioned earlier about the GMAT or GRE not being mandatory as an admissions criteria. Sana is asking, if the Tech MBA program does not require the GMAT or GRE, would it be correct to assume that the scholarship application without the standardized test would be equally competitive to one that has a test score? Or what other advice would you like to give?
That's a great question. And so when we assess candidates for scholarships, we really look at the whole picture. So we're not just looking at your grades. We're not just looking at your GMAT score. We're looking at your experiences, your volunteer work, where you've worked before, also anything that you do that impacts your community. So while we don't require a GMAT score, of course, if you maybe have some lower grades that don't meet our B average and you feel as though the GMAT score could strengthen your file, then we would absolutely welcome you to submit that, because it would strengthen your candidacy for other scholarships that may be merit-based, but you aren't meeting that GPA requirement. So it is kind of dependent on your holistic profile. But if you feel as though maybe you come from a background that isn't very quantitatively strong and you want to show that you are capable and improve your, again, candidacy for the program, then we welcome it, absolutely.
Great. Dr. Murad, I'll bring you the next question here. And while, the panel here by itself is an example to the answer that you may have to this question, but I still want to ask it because it's come up a few times. There's a candidate who's asking, they come from a science background and have experience in sciences. Does that add value to their application, or is that a negative when they think about coming to the Tech MBA program? And do they require business experience or business education while coming in?
They don't require business experience. They need to have work experience, but they don't need to have a business degree to come to an MBA program. I mean, essentially, it's if you have an undergraduate in anything else, an MBA is designed for that. People sometimes go through having an undergraduate in the business and then there's an accelerated MBA. That's fine, but this MBA program is designed with individuals with different backgrounds. Now, if you think about it, technology management or how you're going to be applying technology in your business, in your organization, requires a skill set of connecting dots. You're connecting dots from your business strategy to your technology, to your customers, and then coming up with a solution with a strategy. So if this person who has a background in life sciences, if my biology classes from my high school years or in my secondary years do not fail me, you do need to be asking questions. You do need to be connecting dots. So those aspects of it, of their training will be very helpful. That's one. Second, healthcare is a huge business. You do need MBAs. So, come to us. I mean, if you go to Pfizer, Roche, any of these new vaccine companies, the way that they do business, they have so many different challenges that it's not a scientist who's going to solve that. It's an MBA who's going to be solving it, who understands healthcare and business at the same time and technology. So, no, this is a great program for them.
Great. And there are several questions around the same area. So for that reason, I'm not diving into each of them. I want to emphasize that candidates coming from different backgrounds going into an MBA, look at the fact that you come from a diverse or non-traditional business background as a big strength that you bring into the classroom. Because like you've seen here on the panel, folks that have different experiences are learning from each other. And that strength can only be achieved by a school if folks are coming from different backgrounds. So if anything, your experience from a non-business background is advantageous for others in the classroom, and that will also differentiate you through that application process. Sarah, I want to come back to you, and I'm conscious of time as well. We've run slightly over. Any last thoughts? Because there's a lot of people talking about application fee waivers and other deadlines. If you want to quickly reiterate the deadline as well as the application fee waiver process, that'll be super helpful.
Absolutely. So anybody who is here today in attendance will receive an application fee waiver. And I know other schools may provide you with a code or some way in which you would apply this yourself. The way it works at Schulich for the Tech MBA program is you just need to apply for the program with the email that you use to register for this event. So that's how the application fee waiver is flagged. If you have a different email address that you like to use for education purposes, it will not flag in the system for us. So that is the most important thing. Again, use the same email that you used to register with today when you are applying. In terms of deadlines, we have extended our second round deadline for international students to February 13th. So that is coming up in a couple of weeks. So please ensure that you kind of explore the application and really kind of understand what we're looking for. Ask questions, always send an email to us if you have any queries whatsoever about moving forward. But the deadline for international students will be February 13th.
Fantastic. I'll move to the four of you, and I know and appreciate the time you all have put in. While we've not been able to take as many questions as we would have loved, any tips that you have for everybody that's attending? And Michaela, if you want to go first, followed by Asma, Dapo, and Keon coming up last but by no means least.
If I understood the question correctly, is it tips for...
and one tip, very briefly, that you think is something that will help folks that are thinking about applying to the Tech MBA program?
I think it helps to be clear about your goals. I think Mirat put it well. To be able to make the next decision in your journey, you do need to have in mind what the destination could be. And it takes a little bit of introspection, but once you learn that about yourself, it makes the next steps easier.
Fantastic. Asma?
Hey, so my tip would be to make sure that you reflect back on everything that you have done so far in terms of leadership, in terms of even the little things that we do, volunteer work, and make sure that you show your true self during your application. And that helped me a lot. Even when I was going through, I was like, wow, like that looks good. Like you reflect back. So the application actually helped me reflect back on myself too. So take your time, make sure you show yourself your true self.
Wonderful. Tapo?
Yeah, I think I'll just piggyback on what Michaela said. I think it's really all about clarity in terms of where you aspire to be with regards to your career, having that long-term roadmap and seeing where, what the necessary gaps in terms of learning, in terms of experience, where they sit and how you can essentially position yourself to leverage on opportunities like the Tech MBA program, in essentially filling out those gaps and positioning yourself for, future success. Yeah, that would be it.
Okay. Keon?
Not to echo what's already been said, so I'll try to touch on something new, but the administrative staff and the Schulich team, as well as the faculty, have been incredibly supportive through the journey. And I would say that if you're going into the Tech MBA, like I was mentioning earlier, you get to shape your experience because they are very receptive to feedback. And that's sort of one of the great things about being in a program that's a little younger. You get to develop it. You get to see how it's raised. So having that support and the fact that like your voice matters is an incredible thing to leverage. So don't hesitate to do that. That would be my one tip. Always stay in communication and don't hesitate to leverage your voice.
Fantastic. Murad?
I don't have that many tips. I guess they all like
Just apply. That's the main tip. Make an application.
Well, actually, no. They should not just apply. If they think it's the right program for them, they should apply. If they think that it's not the right program, they should not. They shouldn't apply. So they need to think clear in terms of what they want to do. I mean, especially most of the attendees today are from international students, so they're going to come to a new country. So they should do their research well before they apply, not only about Schulich, not only about this program, but to Toronto, GTA, Canada, all of these things. Because funny thing is, we do offer a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of opportunities here. If you know what you're doing, you will benefit it. If you don't know what you're doing, you will really, you will feel the pain as well at the same time.
Right. Sarah, any thoughts from you?
As somebody who speaks with applicants every single day, all day long, I would just encourage you to really be your authentic self. So we get a lot of questions of how do I stand out from the crowd? Because everybody has a bachelor's degree, everybody has good grades or work experience, but it's those small facets of yourself that make you unique that you should include in your application. So your application should look a little bit differently than a traditional job application because we want to see those pieces of you come out throughout that process.
Great, and from my side, I'll close it with one quick tip as well. Look at an MBA as an investment into your future. Don't ask today, right after you graduate, what it will do for you. Look at roles that folks have got in aspirational areas that you want to grow into, and how the MBA might have helped them as well. So look at it as an investment. Funding is one part of the story. There are several other aspects that you should consider, and make sure that you engage with the school. This was one such opportunity. All of you have taken about 90 minutes of your worthy time to be here and hear from the school and current students as well. Make sure you continue this journey as you decide the program and the application. Speak to students, speak to the school, and we wish you the best in the coming months as you make your application as well. So thank you once again for all the panelists who are here, as well as all the candidates that have stayed back as well. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you again at another event soon. Thank you.